Okay, section 2.3 is on savings accounts. Okay, we have a few definitions here. Savings account is an account in which the bank pays interest on the money that is deposited into the account. This is also FDIC insured. Okay, simple interest formula, which we will use a ton. I equals PRT. PRT means P times R times T. I is your interest, P is your principal. That's the amount of money that you put in. R is a rate as a decimal, and T is time, always in years. Okay, so we will use that formula a ton. Statement savings. This is the most common account where you receive a monthly statement showing all activity on that account. Money market account. This has a higher interest rate. It also requires a greater initial deposit. You also have to keep a minimum balance in that account. And then a certificate of deposit, or a CD. This is an investment that has a set period of time, so you can buy a 6-month CD which has a specific interest rate. Say it's $10,000. You can buy that and then you'll get some interest after the 6 months. So if you need to pause for definitions, go ahead. Number 1 says arrange the following interest rates in ascending order, which means from least to greatest. Okay, if you need to use your calculator for the fractions, go ahead and that'll give you a decimal. Alright, but here is your order. 3.039, 3 3/16, 3.4, 3.499, and 3.5. Again, use your calculator if you need to get the decimal to show which one comes first. Beth and Mark would like to put some savings in the bank. They most likely will not need this money for 4 years, so Beth wants to put in a 4-year CD. Mark wants to put the money in a passbook savings account. What's the advantage of a CD? What's the disadvantage? The advantage is you get a higher interest rate in a CD or certificate of deposit versus a savings account. Okay, the disadvantage is once you put that money in, you pay a penalty if you want to withdraw it early. Okay, where a savings account has no penalty, you can withdraw money anytime in a savings account. Okay, so once you put money into a CD, say it's for 2 years, it's locked in there, and then if you want to take it out, you do have to pay a penalty. Question 3. Ryan deposits $775 in an account that pays 4.24% simple interest for 4 years. Brian deposits $775 in an account that pays 4.24 simple interest for 1 year. Okay, so there we're going to use our I equals PRT formula. Ryan, his interest after 4 years. So your initial deposit's $775 times 4.24% as a decimal, which is 0.0424, times 4, which is T. T is 4 years. Okay, so his interest after 4 years is $131.44. What is Ryan's balance after 4 years? Well, his initial deposit was $775 plus his interest of $131.44 gives you a new balance of $906.44. How much interest did Ryan's account earn the first year? Okay, so initial deposit $775 times your interest rate 0.0424 times 1. T is 1 year. Okay, so $32.86 after 1 year. How much interest did Ryan's account earn the 4th year? Well, again, it's just we're still talking 1 year. So $775 times 0.0424, your interest rate, times 1 year. Same balance, $32.86. Okay. Letter E. What is Brian's interest rate after the first year? Or interest after the first year? So Brian did $775, same initial deposit, times the same interest rate, 0.0424, times 1, because he only put his in for 1 year. You get $32.86. So you'll notice the interest was the same after the first year. What is Brian's balance after the first year? Well, $775 plus $32.86 gives you $807.86. Suppose Brian wants to withdraw all the principal and interest after the first year and deposit into another 1-year account at the same rate. What is his interest rate for the second year? Okay, so you have $807.86, which is $775 plus your interest of $32.86. So that's your new balance. So take that money and then reinvest it. So $807.86 times 0.0424, your same interest rate, times 1 for 1 year, gives you $34.25 in interest. And part H. Compare the interest that Brian earns with the interest that Ryan earns for the second year. Who earned more interest? Brian and Ryan earn the same interest each year, as we figured out, $32.86. Brian earned more the second year, though. He earned $34.25 his second year, okay? Where Ryan, he earned the same because his was only a year. Question 4. How much simple interest does 2560 earn 17 months at a rate of 5 1/8? Round to the nearest cent. So again, simple interest formula, I equals PRT. P is your initial principal, 2560, times your interest rate as a decimal. So do 1 divided by 8 on the calculator, and that'll give you the decimal. So that is 0.05125. Times, look here, 17 over 12. We know there are 12 months in 1 year, okay? And our T is always in years, okay? So you got to do 12 for your denominator. So 17 months over 12 gives you 185.87. Okay, question 5. How long does it take $450 to double at a simple interest rate of 100%? So here we know our interest is going to be $450. So I is going to be $450. Okay, because that's how much interest we want to get. Equals your initial principal of $450 times 100% as a decimal is 1 times T. Okay, we're trying to figure out how long it will take. All right. So 450 times 1 is 450. So you have 450T. Okay, so 450T equals 450. When you divide both sides by 450, T is going to equal 1 year. Okay, question 6. Assume $20,000 is deposited into a savings account. Bedford Bank offers an annual rate of 4% simple interest for 5 years. Slick Bank offers a rate of 20% simple interest for 1 year. Which earns more interest? So let's do Bedford first. Okay, so 20,000 would be, we're going to use our I equals PRT formula still. Okay, so your initial deposit for, or P, is 20,000 times your interest rate, which is 4% as a decimal, 0.04, times 5 years. Okay, that's Bedford. Multiply all those together, and you get $4,000. Okay, so you get $4,000 interest after 5 years. Slick Bank, on the other side, is $20,000 initial deposit times 0.20, or 20% for your rate, times your time is 1 year. Multiply all those together, and you get $4,000 again. So notice Bedford after 5 years is equal to Slick after 1 year, so neither earns more interest. They are the same amount of interest. And number 7, a couple is planning a savings account for a newborn baby. They start with $3,450 received in newborn baby gifts. If no deposits or withdrawals are made, what is the balance of the account if it earns interest at 5% for 18 years? Okay, so again, I equals PRT formula. Initial deposit, or P, your principal, is $3,450 times your rate, or R, which is 5%, so 0.05, and then times T. T is 18 years. So multiply those three numbers together in your calculator, and you get interest of $3,105. $3,105. That's your interest. Now to find your balance, you take your initial deposit, $3,450, plus the interest that you earn. Interest adds onto the account. Add those two together, and your new balance after 18 years would be $6,555.